Hi, welcome back to Renee Ruth Real Estate. Hope everyone's doing well. Renee, how are you?
Well, you know,
Oh,
it has
I know.
been, well, you know,
It's been a week.
we've had a week. So I feel like in real estate, there's like, it's really like this little roller coaster, right? So like we've had, you're climbing, all this stuff's happening, and then all of a sudden it's like chaos. And then climb again, and then it's chaos. This past week was chaos.
Definitely.
It's still not over. I guarantee my
No, I was
client's
gonna
trying
say,
to
like,
call me right now, and I'm
I
like,
know. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. I do have to highlight real quick. We need to finally
It's
get
my
before the war
I
is
just
here.
cleaned it too because I
know,
have
it's
fingerprints
so
on it.
beautiful.
Isn't it? They're different now.
Yeah.
Well, the other ones were on podiums, and now it's like this huge,
It's like
like
house ones.
piece of,
It's
yeah, like,
amazing.
yeah.
4
Maybe because that might
years.
be my last one.
Stop it.
No.
Stop it. Doesn't have to be. By choice, not because you're not qualified.
No, because I'm trying to shift into like growing the brokerage.
Yes.
You won't sell as many houses if you do that.
No,
So
that's
there's a
fair.
chance.
That's
Like
fair.
there's some agents in EXP that are X number of times icon, and they kind of stop that. because they
That's
moved
fair.
into
Well, yeah, that's
so-
true. You're stepping into like doing
Other,
And training and other
yeah. But
things,
I was
so-
thinking about that when that showed up. I'm like, will this be my last year? Like, I was like, depending on how this plays out,
Yeah.
it could maybe still be one more year. But we'll see. Because my next year is on November.
Okay.
So depending on how life plays out, this
Yeah.
could be my last one, or there might be one more. But yeah, I think the point is I can do this.
That's right.
It's just whether or not I'm going to keep because hustling houses. We've talked about it. This company is amazing because it gives you the opportunity to deviate from hustling houses.
Right.
It's not that I can't hustle them. It's just.
Do we want to do it one more time?
That's the question. So stay tuned. We don't know.
We'll see. I also want to give a quick update just because I found this very interesting. I don't do a lot of these market reports, but I saw them.
The little bulletin right in the
Right. I saw them. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So the market report year to date is what we're looking at. So the last 8 months.
2021.
So
20,
2,900 houses have been sold, residential and land. 51 was the average days on market.
Here in Lynchburg?
In Lynchburg.
Okay.
Yep. 664 currently under contract residential and land sales.
664.
Yeah. And average sale price 289 for residential and 26,000 for land. So, and there's
That average hasn't gone up much. I
really
think when I
hasn't.
started, the average was like 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's slowly climbing up.
But it's
So.
not like it went bam, like
Mhm.
some cities.
And the average listing, or the active listings is 822 residential and land.
That's higher
That's
than
high.
it's ever been.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We were at like 20 or 17 at one point. And I was like, that's okay, I'll find those buyers. I'll find the
That's
buyers
right.
for those 17
We'll get
houses.
them. We'll get them. So last week we talked about goals. We had
Yeah, wait for
we had
it.
Fred on, which was great. So I kind of wanting to play off of that episode and talk about 8 common challenges to selling real estate in your first year.
He likes bullets. I mean, if you
He
saw
does.
last week's chat, was like, there are 4.
I love
Now
a good
there's
list.
8. Yeah, he loves
I
a
love a
list.
good list.
He's like, I found a list. I was like,
Found
got a
a list.
He's
This
like,
is what we're
tell me.
talking about.
Yeah, every day when he works, he's got a list as well. Yeah,
Right?
like
These are good though.
Okay, I'm ready.
So challenge number 1, you must sell yourself, which I feel like is what we are finding a lot. To sell yourself, you have to know what you do best and play it up. So that's going to be you're playing to your strong points.
Okay.
So that way your potential clients know who you are, what you're about, what you can offer them.
So I think I've said sell myself. I would have said it. Work to have people know, like, and trust you. Because that's my
Right.
phrase. Know, like, and trust you. Because they have to get to know. They have to get to know you without you feeling like you're super narcissistic about it. They've got to like you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one wants to work with someone they don't like, and then they gotta be able to, they have to trust you. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, like this person seems like they're qualified enough to go through this massive undertaking with me, right?
Mhm.
So getting that no bit is tricky because oftentimes your engagement or your it's like a 30-second. That's why like those elevator speeches you ever heard about, like you've got to have a strong elevator speech,
Yeah.
like a quick, how are we gonna get to the heart of the matter?
Mhm.
How do I establish that credibility with them fast? So,
Right.
yeah, I think that's how I would look at it.
Well, and I think too, it's also, what my initial thought when I read that was, obviously before you were in real estate, like there were certain agents that would come to mind when I would think of certain things. So in terms of like saying yourself, okay, if you are going to list your house, Nadine is who you go to.
There's some billboards
Like,
with a lot of hair.
Right. So it's like, all right.
I'm not even upset her
No.
because she knows.
She loves it.
Yeah.
So she's a listing agent. Like
Yeah.
So it's like kind of you're almost like branding yourself of what
Yeah.
your strong points are. Like when I knew you were in real estate, first thing I thought was a buyer's agent because that was what you had predominantly had done. Like you weren't doing a lot of listings. So it's like, oh, if you need to buy a house, you go to, which is what I did. I went to you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just kind of knowing like what your skills are, what your strong points are.
I think if you're a realist though, because I meet new agents who are like, oh, I want to be a listing agent, and I've said this in other podcasts where when you're new, I don't think you can make that designation because
you may not know yet.
Well, it's not even that you don't know; it's that listings come listings are the hardest things to get. So Nadine is a listing agent because she's been doing this for 18 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She did not. I guarantee you, she started out with buyers. I guarantee you, and then she moved into listing. But then like you think of the workhorse, Preston Davidson, like he established himself. He's got that staging company. He's like doing all these different things to establish himself as he really wants that listing agent status. I just want to be known as somebody who will help you buy or sell.
Right.
I'm not interested in pigeonholing. I've said that to so many of the agents. I'm like, stop limiting what you can do, and just help people. Like, just decide to help people. And maybe that's my brand. Like, I'm here to serve. So whatever that is. Like, you need to buy, you need to sell. Is it land? Is it like is it commercial? Like, I'll help you. So, it just works out that it's easier when you're newer to get buyers because buyers. You think about this: if you're listing, somebody helps you buy that house, and 9 times out of 10, that's who they end up calling to sell.
Oh, that's fair.
This is why listing agents are so. Like you have to catch someone that's been there for 20 years and their agent's retired.
Right.
Or they didn't like their agent, and like, what are you gonna do? Cold call a phone book? Because those don't even work anymore, known as landline. So how do you find listings? That's how I think Nadine. I think most of her stuff is just repeat.
Right. Well, yeah. At this point, it definitely.
I think it's just people she sold homes to after all these years, and they call her back. Yeah, and that's how she's established it. I'm a strong buyer's agent, like ridiculously strong buyer's agent, though. But that's just because that's the market I can reach because I'm not the people. I'm only 6 years in, and I'm only 4 years in full time. So most of my people haven't moved yet. So I'm not getting that call to, what I'm saying?
And you have been starting to see that more. Like yours,
listings are starting to come around.
Starting to come in. So. Right. Challenge 2. You're paid on commission. That's a big one because it can be scary, and a lot of agents were coming off of W-2 jobs.
Yeah.
So this is a whole different world. So.
Yeah. Stephanie and I talk about this because she's salaried-ish in lending, but it's still like they basically pay her salary and then she can pay them back and keep earning. So it's some convoluted thing I don't quite understand. Meaning like she'd still be the whole. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
We're both still kind of commission driven, and we both said like there's a certain personality that can do well on commission, which means like you're not stressing, And I think what helped me is that I was W-2. I was also 1099 at Liberty because I was an adjunct professor, and so they only paid me. I only got paid every 8 weeks.
Oh wow! Oh, was it like for like the whole?
You teach a class, you get paid at the end, and the class is ages long.
Wow.
So I got used to nothing steady. That was steady in a way, but what do you do for 8? I got used to figuring out how to put it on a credit card. How to navigate that because it wasn't a constant.
Right.
So I think, but if I was used to every 2 weeks getting paid, this is a shift.
Yeah.
And not everyone can make it.
No.
But that's where the big money is. Commissions.
Well, yeah, it can be good. You just have to. You
gotta be wired for it.
Yeah. And you have to. There has to be a pen involved too. So you kind of know. So you understand what you're getting into, and being able to set yourself.
I think that's why, Fred would say, he had an easier time because though he had a salary, he still was commissioned.
Right.
I think if you've been in sales,
As I say, if you've been in sales, you
it's less
understand.
daunting. Yeah, like I think, but if you're coming from like an office, like a desk job, to this, it's like, wait, what?
Like, I'm not getting paid every 2 weeks. What's
Yeah, but
going
they
on?
were like, how do I find it? What do I do with my business? You know, and I think a lot of things prepared me for, even though I was a teacher, you know, I did all those MLMs, I did all these different sales things on the side that really helped me develop skills. So that once I went into, it was like, oh, I can do this.
Oh, absolutely. Challenge 3, it's funny because this is actually what we were talking about earlier, but challenge 3 is you're a complete newbie. You're going to make mistakes.
Oh, and they keep making
I'm going to say we still make mistakes.
They keep making them. And they're like, it's not even like it's a mistake. It's like we just had that fake it's just stuff you couldn't, like, the level of things that go sideways. Like, you could never, I think that's why you've really got to be okay with problem solving in this business. Like, you have to be somebody that can, like, think on their feet.
Yeah.
When something goes sideways, you don't get flustered. Like, hit things head on. Like, there's no time for, like, dancing around or being a baby about anything. And usually Chad's seen enough of it where he, like, runs and hides if I start to get a little aggressive.
Just a little. I mean, it was also just talking about the importance of having a mentor. Because of the fact that you are going to need somebody to help coach you through
Yeah,
that.
but also, so here's what's crazy is because EXP provides a mentorship program, but the mentorship is useless if you as the newbie do not reach out. Like, this is what I can't, like, people come in like, oh, I didn't feel supported. It's like, did you call anyone? Like, mentorship doesn't mean I'm calling to make sure you're up at 8 doing your, like, that's not what mentorship means.
No.
You know, it's like you give somebody direction, you look over. Like, I can think of a particular person right now who I was like, do you want to send me those contracts to see? No, I got it. I'm like,
well, anyway, beyond that, you have brokers. Like,
oh, there's just endless.
Like,
so if you are crashing and burning
this morning. So I mean, like,
if you're crashing and burning as a newbie, you have to first ask yourself the hard question: have I reached out enough? Have I made the effort? Because I think everyone just sits around and waits for something. It doesn't work like that. Like, yeah you are a newbie, but I think recognizing that there will always be new things, which is the thing that I think is fun about this business, is that, like, you cannot predict.
oh, really?
Oh my God, it's like I wake up every day, like, I wake up every day excited about what might happen, and then sometimes I wake up and then I'm excited, and then I'm like, what is this? What is all this?
Where did this take me?
Why? Okay, can we do this again? Like, okay, I tell Chad, like, he'll come over at 4 and I'm like, I'm just taking a nap.
Right.
It's been a really long day. Yeah.
Challenge 4, you need to know how to market online. Not play online, not spend your time, making all these
Designing
logos and
logos,
things. But
making posts.
obviously, like you were saying, it's not a phone book world anymore.
No.
Like you obviously you need to know how to put yourself out there.
So I mean, I took classes on Facebook algorithms. I still haven't looked that hard at Instagram. So instead, like, now I've done well enough. We've hired someone. I'm like, you figure it out. You tell me how this is. I just told her today. I was like, can you just tell me what you need from me? Because I just can't even. I don't have time to figure out what to give you. You just give me a list of things you need from me. But it's a social media. What's really great is that, well, great and then not so great is that our MLS is pushed to the third-party sites. They've developed relationships.
Right.
So, like, some of the work is done for us, honestly.
Oh, yes.
And in the market, when things were flying so fast, it didn't even matter. But now we are back to the good old days. And as an agent who's got a listing, you've got to think outside the box again. Because, like, what are you gonna do to get the right person to find this house and come in? And sometimes there's nothing you can do. I actually remember before the pandemic, I had this one client, and the house was not selling. I'm gonna tell you right now, it smelled like animal pee. And these people were nose blind to it. I could not convince them of it. And so the problem with smells is that, you kind of, when you launch a home, you have that first round of buyers. And if it's like that 30-second elevator speech I was telling you about, if they come in and there's anything adverse in the property, done.
Yeah.
And then you gotta wait for the next, like, it's almost like there's a turnover. Well, this woman was getting so mad because it was taking months to sell, but I just kept hitting road on her. Finally, we were rid of the smell, and now it's like this, So finally, like, the house is finally what I consider the kind of shape it needs to be to sell. And her family's telling her I'm not doing enough, and that I should be door knocking to find the buyer. I said, to me, that's illogical. You want me to door knock to homes that people are already living in to ask if they want to come buy your, like,
Wow.
it's incredible what people think. Yeah, like it's incredible what people think and what they think your job should be.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, I was in an open house every Sunday at that park. I mean, I really told her, I was like, I said, apart from buying it myself, there really isn't anything I physically could do more for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to wait for the right one to come now because it took you 3 months to listen to me and get it in shape. You know, and it comes down, like, I know some agents who won't take a property if it's not, if they won't listen, if they won't get it, you know, to a certain space, they won't do it. And I can see why, because that was almost 3 months of work. I will tell you, it was the 11th hour. They were ready to fire me. Our contract was up the next day, and in the 11th hour, God sent a miracle, and this woman comes in, and the offer showed up, and it got, I mean, the 11th,
Wow.
because 3 months of work was about to get taken. They were firing me and already talked to another agent. And that's what's so crazy is that other agent, after I had to get the house in shape, he's rolling into a home that's in shape. 100% he'll sell it.
Oh yeah.
But it would look like I hadn't done my job.
Mhm.
Like it's pretty wild. It's wild. And not like I now that we're having this conversation, I have to remember that because they will think it's you,
Right.
even if you know all the things that are holding it up. I almost think I'm gonna have a sign now that I'm thinking about a house that's coming. These sweet little elderly people, but it might just be like, these are the deficits of your home that could make this hard to sell.
Yeah.
I need you to sign that you know this is why it's not my fault. You know, like
Right. Oh yeah.
crazy.
Challenge 5. Manage your time.
Ha!
Oh,
As I think of sweet Fred,
I
who's
know.
like doesn't come in till 11, I'm like, or 12, I'm like, how's that real estate like?
Right, how's it going? Well, because you're coming off of, a lot of people are coming off of working a traditional 9 to 5.
Somebody needs you at the office.
Yeah, or working
now you have
10 to 8.
your time is yours
Yeah.
to make money or not.
Well, exactly. So just being able to, understand when you need to work and to be disciplined. Because again, as you know, literally it's around the clock.
For me,
So-
well, Chad knows.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of that. I have to discipline myself to not work because burnout is real.
Oh no, it's definitely real. So it's just understanding
Like the
what,
balance.
what are you gonna do? How are you gonna get everything done?
And having
You know?
supportive people, because
No.
I'll be like, I do feel guilty. Like I know he's here in the morning, and I'm like waking up when he but I also was working till 10, 11 o'clock the night
exactly.
before. So
Yeah.
it's like recognizing that it's a and before you existed, I
Yeah.
would not start work till noon that day because our schedules are so erratic that I could start at 8 in the morning and work clear through till I close my eyes at 11.
Right.
We don't have standard, and then some days it's like crickets. So you're just like
Yeah.
But I need the cricket days, But if you're new, those cricket days should be deafening. Like it should be like,
Well,
I need
exactly.
to do something. I need to do something. I've got to generate business, and we've got that sweet little intern who wants to learn the ropes, and I'm like, hardest thing you're gonna do is to find business. So we've got him sitting there
That's what he's doing.
dollar for dollar.
Dollars.
Whole week of dialing for dollars, and I don't think he's come up with one yet, has he?
I don't think so.
Well.
Not to look at his notes, but he's here every morning, comes back and does it
2
again.
o'clock,
So,
2 o'clock,
yeah.
4 hours of dollar for dollars.
Mhm. So I mean, he's doing that hard stuff now to understand what's going to be.
Well, that's
like,
what
so
they
it's
wanted.
great.
His parents wanted. He wants to do this, and they wanted him to learn the ropes. And I'm like, that's probably the hardest rope in this business.
Yeah.
You can learn to write a contract. You can learn how to show a property. You can learn how to do it. But those are all fun and easy things. Finding clients
Yeah.
is the challenge, and it's the thing that stops people from pursuing this full time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It can be scary.
It's work. Oh,
Yeah,
guess
it's
what?
work.
It's work.
It's work, my friends. Work.
Work.
All right, challenge 6. You'll need to manage your clients' expectations. Which,
Oh, did we not just
talk
have a
about.
2-hour class on that yesterday? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Fred said it best. He's like, so I'm gathering that we just really need to over communicate. I'm like, that.
Oh, absolutely.
The more you can say in this business, the better.
Mhm.
Obviously there are things that don't need to be said, like lending. Different things will come up, and Stephanie and I learned a long time ago. There's problems that you don't need to disclose because it just gets everybody up in arms,
Right.
And there's a time because a lot of them will get resolved. So when we first started, every time we hit like a snag, we're letting everyone know we hit a snag, and then next thing you know, there are just bombshells going off, and we're like, okay, we caused this war. So how do we stop this from happening? Because we learned that these problems, most of them we got through most of them.
Yeah.
But you can get through them like in war-torn situations, or you can get through them peaceful and lily-like, because, you know, in some cases they're on a need-to-know basis, but managing the expectations, you know, like the more you can tell them about what could happen, what, you know, like we were talking before, even about with that girl, with the, you know, that experience taught me, if I come in and there's something adverse, I'm gonna let them know, I can't do my job because of this effectively. I will list this for you, we don't have to address this, but it's going to impede my ability to do my job. Like, are we clear on that? Because like, because I'm that's coming from a space of me getting blamed for that property not selling, and then it almost being given to somebody else who would 100% sell it, because I had spent 3 months getting it to the place it should have been empty to begin with.
Right.
So, you know, but then sometimes you can't even, no matter how much you try to manage, you just gotta let it roll.
Let it roll. Well, and playing off of that comes with challenge 7, you may have to deal with difficult personalities.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with the client's expectations, but now you're also dealing with difficult personalities.
If you don't like people, this is not the job for you. I like most people.
Yeah.
There's like one personality type, and I don't run into very often. There's one personality type that I bristle. Like literally, we're in a conversation, and I'm just, like I can feel, you know, I'm like I'm being nice, and like, and I don't run into it very often, but when I do, my body, like I have adverse reactions, and so I mean, but other than that, most people are fine. What I don't like are liars, cheaters, and thieves. And Chad, I will lose my stuff over one of those 3 things. Yeah, like I'll lose my stuff. Because I just don't have room for it.
No.
There's just no reason.
No.
There's literally
and it's
no
disrespectful.
reason.
Like there's no reason
On
for it.
every level.
Yeah.
You are not a child. You don't need to hide anything anymore. If you're doing those things, you're probably not a good person.
Yeah.
And those are people I just don't like. If you're not a good person, I don't like you.
But if it's just a clash in personalities, there's nothing wrong with that. It just may not be the person for you.
And that's the like, and trust. No, like, and trust.
Exactly.
So, like, the like component.
Right.
We both have to like each other.
Yeah.
I might be too much for some people. Like, I think Stephanie's a lot. Yeah.
But we love her.
We love her anyway. But I'm a lot in a different way, too. Like, and I'm really upbeat, I'm really happy, I'm like that. Like some people are like, okay, you need to calm down. Like I do need, luckily I can read a room. So like if I come in a little boisterous and the person's like, hi, it's nice to meet you, I'll bring it down. I was like, oh, we're down here. I'm like, nice to meet you too. Sorry about that energy. Just overwhelmed you right now. We're like Stephanie, there's no, like she's just like, I respect that from her, I do.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, like that, Stephanie will be the first to say she's not everyone's cup, her phrase, I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
No.
And none of us are,
That's okay. So it's just understanding that and not being.
It's not personal.
No, it's not.
It's not personal.
And not being like, oh, I have to take every single client because I'm new. I'm like, it's gonna be so much work.
Yeah, but
It's
you
gonna be so work and
don't.
it's not gonna work. So.
I can list on one hand people I wish I would have pushed through. One hand.
Yeah.
Especially, I told Chad recently, I was like, if someone doesn't want to work with me anymore, make me get rid of them.
Right? Exactly.
Because we signed an addendum, like we signed a buyer's agreement where like they're supposed to work with us. I'm like, remind me not to get that, like stick that to somebody, because it ends up coming back to my knee. Like, if you want to go, let them go. Yeah.
Challenge 8 is you might experience fear, naturally.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
I think with any venture in life, there's an element of fear. And it's how you let that fear work for you. Does fear cripple you or does it empower you? Because it can do both.
Yeah.
And I think if you allow fear to cripple you, you're never going to grow. If you allow it to empower you, like things that scare me, I've chosen to let drive me.
Right.
Like, okay, that sounds terrifying. Let's try it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not going to jump out of a plane, but see, that doesn't that's not that's just an experience versus like life, moving life forward.
Yes.
Like kind of like this whole competition I'm doing next weekend. I'm like, let's do it. Let's just see what happens.
Do it.
I'm a little chunky on stage.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But with this too, it was also just the fear of rejection as well,
Yeah.
fearing the no's, which again, like we said, the intern, He's heard plenty of no's.
Nothing fixes that.
Nothing fazes him at all. But you've got to be okay hearing the
Someone
no's.
hung up on Fred.
Yeah, I had somebody hang up on me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's part of the business.
Yeah.
So
I think you get, what's that like? It's like the calluses. Like, you know, when you walk so much on hard surfaces, your feet develop calluses, so they're tough and it doesn't hurt. That's like the callus of sales. Like, you develop these calluses, like these mental calluses, where it's like you've heard it so much. That's what made me not care, because I had heard no so many times before David Fields.
Oh yeah.
But by the time I got into this, I was like, oh, you don't want to work with me? That's cool.
No.
Like, you don't want to talk to me? That's cool. but then trying to work to be the best agent you could possibly be, so that people are interested in working with you and be, you know, that matters to
Oh
you.
yeah. Like you said, working for what? Working for their interest.
Oh yeah. I work. You type up my slogan. For the best interest and not the bottom line. Yeah, not my bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their best interest, not my bottom line. Yeah.
So I just want to help everybody.
And that's the thing. Like, I was in positions where I needed that close to pay a bill, but it was not gonna. That closing of that property was gonna be detrimental to them. I had to let it go. And I always say that I'm like, that will come around. Like, when you do right by other people, it will come back to you tenfold. And I've experienced it too many times to know it's true, and it's just not worth. I know agents that are like, this has to close because they want the money. I'm like, don't say that. Like, not because you want the money. This has to close because your client is so excited and this is the best thing for them. That's why it has to close. But if there's adversity, do the best thing for them.
Yeah.
You know, not your pocketbook.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's where we're at.
Okay.
So, but of course, you know we're gonna finish on Fun Fact Friday.
Fun Fact Friday.
Fun Fact Friday. You're gonna love this one.
Okay.
I love these. It's fun for me.
That's part of his day. It's finding the time now.
Aspen, Colorado has such high real estate prices that in 2011, the cheapest listing was a $559,000 trailer.
Trailer?
Trailer. Not kidding.
Was it on acreage?
I hope so.
Like 0.2 acres
I was
of
like,
a
oh
lot.
my God, I had no idea. I didn't know Aspen was that expensive. I mean, I knew it was pricey, but
A trailer?
A trailer.
Not even a mobile home?
like they didn't even refer to like a double wide. They called it a trailer. I'm very concerned about this Aspen. I don't know what's happening.
What's going on in
Well, I mean, that
Is
was-
this because of the ski?
That's 11 years ago. I mean, it is a big ski. It's a big ski town. But still, it just seems absurd.
Yo, I don't need to live in Colorado that
We don't
bad.
need to live there.
No,
It's okay.
no,
We're all right with
no.
that.
We're having